Star Wars. It's been an exciting time in the history of pop culture recently. The ever-endearing and beloved Star Wars moniker came back with a vengeance with the release of Episode 7, The Force Awakens, late last year. Once again, the millions upon millions of fanatics felt that delirium and excitement that gripped the world in the late 70s and early 80s. Cinemas were once again packed full to the rafters with punters hungry for their next taste of galactic action, dizzy with anticipation and full of expectation. And the film didn't disappoint either, and it seems to have set up the next few films on a high note. So let's hope they don't fuck it all up! I feel like the successful release of the 7th installment of the saga should be commemorated in some way with a showcase of some of the many Star Wars games to grace the world. And I'm not going to be that guy that decides to show off all the obvious choices like the Super Star Wars games on the Super Nintendo, or even the Episode 1 pod racing game. Instead, I have lined up 3 PlayStation 2 games from my own personal collection that I'm going to show off today. All 3 of these titles tie in with the prequel trilogy of films, Episodes 1, 2 and 3. Now that I think about it, this Han Solo outfit seems a little bit unfitting now. And all 3 have been published under the well-known banner of LucasArts. And to kick things off, we have Star Wars Starfighter from 2001.
Our first game is a good old flight combat adventure title, which lets you whiz around the galaxy far, far away in various spacecraft. Star Wars and flight combat in spaceships, they go hand in hand, honestly. The plot concerns 3 different space pilots and their exploits in stopping the many dastardly plans of the greedy Trade Federation and the Separatist movement before and during the event of Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Across 14 missions, you'll be taking the position of each of the 3 pilots and follow their intertwining adventures. First up is Reese Dallos, a human member of Naboo's Bravo flight, piloting an N-1 Naboo starfighter. Second is Varna Sage, a rather mellow mercenary who flies her ship, the Guardian Mantis. And finally, there is the Gruffiran pirate Nim and his modified fighter bomber named the Havoc. Also joining the band whilst being an unplayable character in the story is Reti the Toydarian. Gross. Each mission is staggered into main objectives which must be completed without blowing up in the process. To do this, you shoot your pew-pew lasers at enemy craft with your primary blaster weapons, plus each playable spacecraft uses a differing secondary weapon. Reese's Naboo fighter uses proton torpedoes for direct damage, though they are of limited capacity. Varna's ion torpedoes are able to effectively deplete enemy shields, and Nim's secondary consists of bombs best suited for eliminating ground targets. Damage from enemy fire virtually depletes your shield before destroying your actual hull. You can activate a zoom function to see enemies from a distance and also utilize boosters and brakes for quick maneuvers in combat. On top of the main objectives, bonus objectives are available to complete that reward speedy termination of targets, helping teammates stay alive and so on. Beating these bonus objectives will gradually unlock extra content in new machines to fly and new missions to try and complete. When all is said and done, I actually think Star Wars Starfighter is merely an okay game, despite the heavy amount of praise it seemed to get when it first came out. I think the somewhat monotonous nature of the gameplay does contribute to this, as it isn't always fun to plow through, and the automated comments made by the characters in-game become annoying to listen to. But maybe the biggest reason is this: I don't think age has done this game many favours. The CGI cutscenes may have been okay to look at in the beginning, but nowadays they just can't be seen as anything but gut-wrenchingly ugly. It still managed to do quite well in terms of sales regardless, enough to warrant an improved Xbox version and a sequel game. So hey, props to Starfighter. It's okay in my eyes, so that means it's not terrible.
Next up is probably the one Star Wars game in my entire collection that I have played the most of during my time. Star Wars The Clone Wars from 2002.
Ever wanted to take control of some of the most well-known vehicles and tanks seen in the Great Clone War Battle of Geonosis? The TX-130 assault tank, for instance, an LA-AT Republic attack gunship, an experimental AT-XT assault walker, even snoop around in the Trade Federation AAT, which is the best fucking vehicle ever because of that massive fuck-off laser turret thing! Then this is a game for you. We have yet another vehicle combat game in which you help Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Mace Windu through 16 perilous missions in a bid to stop tyrannical Count Dooku from bringing back an ancient and powerful Sith weapon, with the first 3 missions on Geonosis being directly linked to the final moments of the second prequel film, Attack of the Clones. Nice touch. Every vehicle you can pilot in the Clone Wars features their own primary and secondary weapons, plus a special ability on the circle button, usually a form of booster or even a tertiary weapon. Just so you know, that means third weapon, by the way. And fight the Separatist forces in a variety of exciting locations, including the one place you actually saw in the film, not Hoth, not the Endor Moon, And this would have been a great place to film Scrap Heap Challenge. Each one of the 16 missions is made up of primary objectives that must be passed to complete the mission, plus a series of bonus objectives like there was in Starfighter beforehand, that reward anything from beating a goal in a certain time limit or finding hidden objects. And some of these are actually fairly challenging, so much so that to this day I haven't been able to complete all of them.
It's 'cause you're shit! Get good, you fucking scrub!
Lots of things will be shooting at you, of course, and they'll firstly deplete your shields before they start wearing away at your actual hull. But both repair kits and ammunition refills are provided fairly well, and extra temporary power-ups exist that can double your weapon's potency or make you invincible for a short time. I like this game a lot, actually. Some parts of it can get quite challenging with some stubborn boss fights. Fuck these proto-dakers! The multiplayer is a good laugh, even though it's so unbalanced, and most of the vehicles are really quite good to control. Where I think the Clone Wars fails mostly is trying to add on-foot lightsaber segments. Oh boy, trying to add lightsaber controls can be a death sentence for a Star Wars game, and in this one, well, just watch.
Okay, so you hold down the X button to attack. Here we go. Look at him go. He's still going, look. He's still going. Look, I haven't let go of the button. I'm still holding it there. You see? He's still going, look at him. Look at him go. This is ridiculous!
And I can't say that the voice acting is too great either. Number 1, Obi-Wan sounds a bit too camp for my liking.
Wars are not won overnight, Anakin.
Raxus is a backwater planet of no strategic importance. What could the Separatists want with it?
And number 2, bless their heart and souls, they can't do a convincing Yoda to save their lives.
Ambitious this one is.
But I have to say, I do dig the storyline. If you want my opinion, this storyline's what the animated Clone Wars film should have been like. You know that film, right? If you do you remember how utterly awful it was? I mean, who gives a single shit about this fucking turd with eyeballs? Seriously. The film sucks.
And now on to the third and final game I want to show you today. And this one should round off this little video quite nicely. We've had a game based on material from the first prequel film, we've had a game based on material from the second prequel film, and this next game is based on material from the third prequel film. In fact, it is the direct licensed game based off of the film. Star Wars Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith.
This 2005 release doesn't need any explanation of the storyline if you've seen the film already. It's essentially the film plot in game form. You get to feel it, live it, breathe it. And like in the Clone Wars game beforehand, you'll be playing through 16 separate missions as Jedi duo Anakin and Obi-Wan as they rescue the kidnapped Chancellor aboard the Invisible Hand, seek out General Grievous on Utapau, and play out the climactic tussle between former allies on Mustafar. With this being a more direct action-oriented and on-foot Star Wars game, a lot of focus is placed on the lightsaber combat mechanics, and thankfully this time around they aren't completely unbearable. In fact, they aren't too bad. You can attack using light, heavy, and critical slashes in varying combinations and defend yourself against certain enemy advances. You can also take control of each Jedi's Force abilities, including mind control, which can only be used with enough energy in your Force meter. But a little bit of real talk here. There's only one Force ability you will ever want to use when you unlock it. Force Lightning, motherfuckers! The more enemies you defeat in succession, the better your chain becomes, which rewards you with more experience to level up your Jedi's abilities at the end of each mission. And as it is in most cases with film tie-in games, many of the important scenes are extended out in certain missions, most notably in the pseudo-boss fights. For example, Obi-Wan vs Grievous is much longer than in the film, Anakin's betrayal of Mace Windu is turned into a full-blown fight, and in another example, Darth Vader's purge of the Jedi Temple after his turn to the dark side is its own full mission as well. And there's an extra boss fight mission pitting Vader against two new Jedi who seem to only appear in this game adaptation. Bonus scenarios are unlocked after clearing missions in the campaign, allowing you to play as other characters from the story, and as a special treat, there's actually a 17th campaign mission in which you can play the final fight on Mustafar from Vader's perspective, offering an alternate ending to the storyline. Play it yourself if you want to find out what happens. As a film tie-in game, Revenge of the Sith can't be knocked too much in my opinion. It's enjoyable in quick sporadic bursts, and the lightsaber combat mechanics offer a decent amount of depth. But the repetitive nature of the fighting and platforming in this game mean that it will become a bit boring on a long stint, and most of the puzzle elements and extra gameplay elements are quite dull as well. But I just can't help but give massive kudos to this game purely for the fact that Force Lightning is a thing you can do. Seriously, that's like the best bit about it. It's fucking awesome, bro!
And that about covers it. 3 Star Wars games that may have whet your appetite and persuaded you to search out for copies of them if you want to try them out for yourself. And this is just but a small taste of the myriad of Star Wars games out there, each of them offering a unique and exciting perspective on the lore and the extended universe, be them great or not so great. Here's to many more games in the future, and also here's to the hopeful success of the remaining films. I simply cannot wait to see them. So until next time, all I can say now is stay you and stay awesome. May the Force be with you, and I will see you all later on. But let's be real here, hokey religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
And a big supermassive hello to you all, thanks for watching this special Star Wars Triple Showcase video. I did mean to put this out in time for the release of The Force Awakens, but you know, stuff happens and all that. I hope you enjoyed this nonetheless, and if you did, leave your likes, favourites and comments below and share this video around with your friends. My most recent videos are annotated here if you want to see more of my stuff. The first one is my video on the Pokemon trading card game training video from back in the day, and my quickfire thoughts on the Wii U eShop game Fast Racing Neo can be found here. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you want to be among the first to see all of the new stuff that I make in the future. And until then, thanks again for watching, stay you and stay awesome, and I will see you all later on.